up everyone, Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture. Thank you for tuning in. January 15, 2018, gonna do a nice, quick, concise, technical analysis. Show you what I'm thinking, where my head's at, and why I'm thinking what I'm thinking. So check out the 1 hour chart. And what we're really gonna talk about right now is just patterns and channels. So I'm gonna revisit the time frame of September to November again. If you watched my video yesterday, I talked about similarities between that time frame and the one that we're in now. So I'm gonna talk about that again because these are things that I look at personally. So looking back, obviously, I don't want to get too much into it, but we see a ton of similarities in the movement of Litecoin within these time frames. I mean, you can, very simply see a run up, right? Run up, little hesitation, run up, down, right? And if you look at now, we really see the same thing. Little hesitation, run up, down, back up, you know, new low down here, new low down here. So I'm not gonna get into that. However, I wanna look at these two time frames in context to these channels. So if you look at the September to November time frame, and this is the 1 hour chart, when we finally did start to consolidate and start to kind of level off, we kind of entered into this channel right here. And in my opinion, we were kind of already here in relative to that channel. This is kind of the same type of pattern we see in this channel now. Sorry, my phone is ringing. So with that being said, what I've noticed happening as of recently, and it happened back in mid-October, is we kind of went into a new channel, a little bit higher of a channel. And I've kind of been keeping an eye on this, and it looks like we're trying to do the same thing here. So if you notice, we really have been, and I've talked about this, the support at 220, I've been keeping an eye on, but I've also been keeping an eye on a new support zone in the 230 to 240s. So, and I think that we're kind of getting there as far as this channel goes. So with that being said, what I'm keeping an eye on is when are we gonna retest, the 300 mark again? That's the question. And if you look at when we finally did break out of this second channel, and in my opinion, again, we're in this second channel now, when we finally did break out of this second channel in mid-November, which you may remember, what we needed to do then was we needed to retest this resistance, you know, at the 90 to 100 mark. And that's what happened in this, you know, in this uptrend here. We retested that resistance. Now, if you remember, we almost broke 100, but we came back down. So what I'm keeping an eye on is I want to see us retest this 300 mark. The question is, will we break it and stay above and create a new channel, or will we retest it and then come back down? Now, so I have two thoughts in regards to this. If we do come back down, I really don't think we'll come down any more than the high of, you know, of this resistance right here in the 270 to 280 range. I think if we come back down, we'll find a new support at the 270 to 280. That's if we retest and try and break through the 300. So really what I'm looking for, and there's some things to keep in play and keep in mind here, for a breakout above 300 or through 300. That is, you know, we have different things going on right now. We have Bitcoin futures and expirations of contracts. We have the craze going on right now with, you know, all these altcoins. And the question is, where's money gonna go, right? And that's kind of what we're waiting to see. Now, if we're just looking at patterns and charts, you know, I'm pretty bullish on thinking that Litecoin, you know, within the next 1 to 2 weeks, possibly by the end of this week, we'll try and make a run and retest 300. So that's kind of my thought process right now. With that being said, on the flip side, because it's always important to have a plan on the flip side, I really would like to, you know, if we don't break this, if we don't break up, right, and we actually break down, what are we looking for as far as support goes? So when I talk about support, in my own mind, even if it's subconsciously, I'm always thinking about buying. This is just my strategy, which is buying the dips. That's what I do. So if we do head down, I don't get worried. I more get very analytical, and I try and find the right time to purchase. So I really want to see if we do break down, if we touch the 220 support zone again, I will be tempted to buy, but I also want to see how quick we dipped out at 220 if we dip, and because I'm really keeping an eye on the 150 range as far as buying, you know, a larger amount of Litecoin, just because it's a possibility. I don't think we're going to do that. I'm just saying I'm keeping an eye on that, and I'm open to that happening. When trading or investing, you always have to have all available options at the forefront of your mind. So, of course, I am kind of bullish and thinking we might make another run up to 300. However, on the flip side, what if that doesn't happen? And what if, you know, some type of weird bad news comes out and we dip down? Are we gonna test the 150 mark, right? Are we gonna break support of 220? So these are things I need to keep in my mind and be prepared for when it happens, so that when it does happen, when and if it does happen, you are not making an emotional decision. You're not chasing something, and you're prepared and you're ready. You're kind of on standby, and you're just like, boom, I'm gonna make this happen. When this happens, if this happens, I'm gonna do this. You really just wanna plan and be prepared, because at the end of the day, most of the market is not prepared. Most of the market is just, you know, they're just buying these runs because they have a little bit of FOMO and they think this is the next run and they don't want to miss out. And then it pulls back and they get worried. And a lot of the market does that. So my whole reasoning for the way I invest and trade is I wait until we hit a nice support zone and I buy more. It's the safest play, it's the most conservative play, and it just has worked for me. So that's kind of what I talk about in pretty much most of my videos. So long term, obviously I'm bullish, and especially looking at these charts. So if you look at the September to November chart, it did make a run up, and it kind of created itself a new channel, a little bit volatile at first, but it did create a new channel, and I would say the channel looks more like this right there. And then obviously we know what happened in December when we just, you know, kind of went crazy and we went from 100 to 300. So now if you look at the 8 hour, I kind of want to just sum all of this up with this general thought. The 8 hour shows, you know, what is this going back to? This is February or March. So, and we can go further back, but what we have is a basic uptrend in the chart and in the trend of Litecoin. It's generally been up. So, and I know this looks very, you know, this looks very crazy and a drastic jump, but if you zoom in on, you know, the time frames, you'll see similar patterns. So, you know, it's an 8 hour chart, so, you know, that's drastic right there. And as you zoom in more on these, each thing is drastic, and it always has a mini pullback. And that's kind of what we've seen right now recently. And sorry for this mess on the screen. I need to get a real mouse and stop using my trackpad. But with that being said, my point is, generally we are, you know, I am bullish because the trend has been increasing for Litecoin and Bitcoin. And, you know, it's always just a matter of, when we do have a run up, how long will consolidation last for, and when will that next breakout be? And that's kind of where my mind is now. I'm kind of looking for a breakout in the next 1 to 2 weeks, possibly by the end of this week, to retest 300. And if not, I'm prepared to buy at either 220 area or, you know, worst case scenario, $150 area. So those are my thoughts. I'm sorry if it was a little drawn out. I just kind of hopped on here and wanted to give you an overview of the pattern and the zones that we've been trading in and that I see in correlation to the September to November area. Because I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's really following these same channels. So the question is, when can we break out of this second channel that we seem to be forming right now with the new support in the 230 to 240? So when are we gonna retest 300? I don't know. What do I think? By the end of this week, possibly next week. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. I encourage you to keep your eye on the same thing. And in general, like I always say, invest safely, invest cautiously, conservatively. Don't spend more than you can afford to lose, and have some fun with it. The markets are pretty exciting right now, so I really appreciate you stopping by and watching this video, and I will see you on the next video. God bless.